Hello dear learners, welcome again to the next session of Building Bylaws in Residential Design. This is lecture number 6 and we are going to discuss on the qualitative controls of building bylaws. I am architect Mansha Samreen from School of Architecture and Design, K.R. Mangalam University, and we are going to discuss the next aspect of the building bylaws in the residential design lecture series. So, the discussion today would be a very quantitative and number related discussions. We are going to discuss on the key development controls in residential building bylaws, the regulatory framework shaping residential built forms, controls governing residential plot, built mass and height that has to be taken care of, building bylaws from plot dimension to the build form that you need to understand as an architect. So, we need to understand first that what are different types of areas. The different types of areas are built up area, plinth area, floor area, carpet area and super built up area. We will discuss one by one on all these areas and what they actually mean. So, built up area is the covered area. It is the area of all floors above or below the ground level of the building. It includes basements, building structures, outbuildings, garages, washrooms, baths, services room, ramps, ducts, swimming pools, covered, cantilevered portions, etc. It does not, however, include steps, veranda, soak pits, water tank, manholes and fountains. So, anything which has a covering on top of it will be calculated under the built up area. So, built up area comes up to the total built up area. So, the additions that are included in the total built up area are the ground coverage, that is the area covered by the building, the floor and the plinth area, the carpet area, the super built up area and the basement area. So, all these 5 areas will culminate to become the total built up area. Details that need to be included in the total built up area are the basement, building structure, ramps, swimming pools, reservoirs, chimney, water purification plant, etc. Anything which will have a covering or a roofing on top of it will be calculated under the covered area. Details such as steps, ota or veranda, kundi, soak pit, fountain, manhole, water tank, these doesn't have a overhead covering on top of it which can be a habitable area. So, that areas will not be calculated under the covered area when we discuss the calculation for the total built up area. Next aspect is the ground coverage. We just discussed ground coverage. So, when you will see the building bylaws, you will find that it's written 30% ground coverage is permissible, 50% ground coverage is permissible, 75% ground coverage is permissible, 100% ground coverage is permissible. So, what this means? On your screens you can see that there are 3 images of a plantation. In first one you can see it's sparsely planted and you can see the soil beneath. In next one you can see that you can see the soil and the green cover equally, and in the third image you can see that you can see just the green aspect, you can't see the soil below. This is what is meaning of the ground coverage. So, 30% ground coverage means the 30% vegetation is seen. 50% ground coverage for vegetation means that 50-50, 50 soil and 50 green, and 100% means that you are not seeing any soil, you are just seeing 100% green cover. Same concept is then implemented into the building aspect. So, again we have 3 figures here. In first one you can see there are plots in which the building line is not covering the whole extent of the plot. You can see some green areas, you can see open areas in which you can see there are streets, you can see pavings and you can see the pathways. Second one, it's 50-50, so the building is covering the plot overall plot or the site area 50% only, and rest of the area is open area, which can be utilized again in the green areas, pathways, streets, ramps, etc. And in third one, you can see that 100% plot area or the site area is covered. So that's called the 100% ground coverage. So in our building bylaws for residential purpose also, you will be getting these numbers. So this means that covering how much building can cover the overall site area that you have got will be given by the ground coverage value from the building bylaws. Next important topic is the plinth area. So the built up covered area that is measured at the floor level of a basement of any story is called the plinth area. So in the plinth area, the area above which the wall is there, above which there is a roof is present, it will be calculated under the plinth area. So areas of walls at floor level excluding plinth offsets, external areas of projection and cladding come under the plinth area. The cover of stairs come under the plinth area, barsati, machine room, porch without cantilever all become the part of the plinth area. Areas which do not get calculated in the plinth area are the additional floor to floor height, or the if there is no floor just above and a double heighted structure is there, so only one unit will be calculated as the plinth area. The balcony projections are not calculated in plinth area. The curvature or any design improvements which doesn't have any functional value will not be calculated in plinth area. Platform without cover, terrace or the floor above will not be calculated in plinth area. Any dome, terrace tower or spiral staircase will not be calculated in the plinth area. Next important aspect is the carpet area. Carpet area is the net usable area within a building, means the net area within a unit of a building excluding walls or columns, service areas such as washroom, kitchen and pantry, semi-open spaces such as veranda or balcony and corridors or passage. So as simple as the word carpet, wherever you can put the carpet in your covered area comes under the carpet area. It's as basic as that. So see this image. So you can see that in this image red carpet is laid in the area. So all the area in which carpet can be laid comes under the carpet area, and the area in which carpet cannot be laid comes under the built up area. So carpet area will exclude the walls, any walls, balconies, circulation areas will be excluded from the overall carpet area. Again see in this image, so all the external walls, internal walls, the washroom area, the terrace, the service areas for the duct, the lift, the balcony projection, everywhere where you will not be putting up a carpet will be deducted from the overall built up area. So the calculation is very basic and very simple. To calculate the carpet area, you will subtract the total built up area from the usable area in which you are putting up the carpet. So there are three terms that is important to understand: built up area, carpet area and super built up area. So built up area, students, as we discussed, built up area is the total area in which we are building. It will be the plinth area including the covered area. Wherever you are making a roof, that will come under the built up area. Carpet area is the areas where you can put up the carpet. So that area excludes the internal walls, external walls, and any circulation area would be excluded from it. So built up area is the sum total of area of the walls plus the carpet area, and super built up area is the area of the walls, the carpet area and the common area. So when we are talking about areas in a residential design, so these three terms, built up area, carpet area and super built up area, needs to be very clearly understood, because when these areas are being sold at rate of per square feet or per square meter or per square yard. So, the selling point is on the basis of super built up area. So, super built up area will also include the common areas such as lift, the lobby area, the foyer area, the porch area, the staircase area for a shared residential design. So, when you see the design of any high rise residential tower, there are many a times 2 flats on one floor plate or 3 flats on one floor plate or 4 flats on one floor plate. So, for that sellability, the overall super area is prepared. So, the super area will include the common area. That common area such as lobby, lift area, the lift lobby area, the foyer, the staircase would be shared by the 4 flats in a floor plate, if there are 4 flats in that floor plate. But the total usable area that the end user is getting is the built up area and the carpet area, which will include the areas of the walls and the carpet area. So, actual usable space that we have is the carpet area that the end user is having, but the overall calculation for the money aspect is done on the super built up area. Next aspect is to understand the floor space index, which is also called FSI or floor area ratio. So, FSI is the quotient obtained by dividing the covered area, that is the plinth area on all floors, by the total plot area or site area. FAR will not include the parking, ducts, basement used for parking, security cabins, water room and electricity room, a stair cabin or a water tank or any of the service area. These are all free from FAR. So, when you are working with your design, so FAR is another important quantitative value that has to be taken from the building bylaws and implemented in your design. So, just to understand what FSI is, so FSI as discussed is total covered area on all floors divided by the plot area, and FAR is the percentage value. So, FAR and FSI are basically related with the percentage factor. So, if I am saying that FAR is 100%, that means the whole plot is going to be covered. If I am saying that FAR is 50%, that means that FAR would lead to the construction of 2 floors. I will have to leave some open space. If I am saying that FAR is 25%, so for that total area I will be building 4 floors. So, it is basically the percentage of area that is allowed for construction, taking care of ground coverage in mind. So, considerations of FAR depends, again it demonstrates how bylaws impact the vertical expansion. So, the FAR will help you to understand how much you can build and how tall you can build. So, you need to understand what is the height of the building. So, FAR has a direct role to play. If you need to understand what should be the overall expanse of your project, how much area you are going to build up, FAR is going to control it. So, FAR considerations when done by the authorities, they take into the consideration of the occupancy, the typology of construction, the width of the street and what is the traffic load, how much parking facilities are required and what are the firefighting facilities or the service facilities that are required for that particular area. In respect to the residential construction, FAR has to be followed because it will decide how much you can build. So, for a same plot, you can build either just ground floor or you can build 4 floors and the overall built up area would be the same because of the FAR considerations. So, the limitation of area and height for different construction types and occupancies will be achieved through the FAR. It will impact directly to the building size, the number of floors and the open space requirement. So, again it gives a very bracketed figure in which the architects and the designers have to work out their design. It will also lead to the height of the building, that maximum height of the building will also depend upon the street on which it is constructed. So, a basic norm is that height of the building cannot be more than 1.5 times the width of the street, and which is again directly related to the FAR aspect of the developmental control norms. In airport vicinity, the height is fixed in consultation with the civil authority. So, the areas which fall nearby the aviation aerodromes and airports will have again a curtailed restriction of height. So, this will be around 15 meters for Delhi NCR, and different from somewhere else depending upon the bylaws, but in India as per the model building bylaws it is 15 meters, adherence is important. So, this height of the building will exclude certain roof structures if the area is within the limit, such as roof tanks and some supports, some ventilation staff, or specifically roof structures, but it cannot be a habitable space such as a penthouse. Building bylaws for residential area has certain points that you need to remember. First is the size of the plot, area limitation, the margin which is the setbacks, height of the building, plinth height, minimum area of the rooms, basement, compound wall, projection margin, parapet wall, mezzanine floor, and the staircase. So, and to understand what is the site of the plot, it will depend upon the type of development that you are going to do. So, if you remember, we have discussed this in our first lecture, the types of development such as detached building, semi-detached building, row type building. So, these again have a plot size as per the building bylaws, and the developmental control norms will give you the maximum or minimum plot size, and on basis of that plot size a frontage is defined. So, for 250 square meters and above, frontage has to be more than 12 meters. Semi-detached building between 125 to 250 meter square will have 8 to 12 meter. For row types building with a plot size ranging between 50 to 125 meter square, it will have 4.5 to 8 meters of frontage. So, these values that you are seeing, that there is a range between 8 to 12, 4.5 to 8. So, these ranges are flexible ranges and comes under the purview of the local building authority. So, that is why I keep on saying that you have to refer to the local building bylaws to work out how much is the exact value. When you are working and when you are making a design, you will never make a range, you will make a specific value. So, to get that specific value, you have to follow the bare minimum standards given in the building bylaws, and you can go above it if required and you have the design independence, you can do that, but the bare minimum guidelines have to be followed to be in compliance of the building bylaws given by the authorities. Second aspect is the area limitation. The limitation of area and height of the building depends on the construction and occupancy classes, which is achieved by the satisfying the floor area ratio. So, again area of the plot will decide how much area can be covered. So, covered area is basically the ground coverage. So, depending upon what is the area of the particular plot, you will be deciding, you will be getting the values for ground coverage. For example, from 200 to 1000 square meter, the value would range somewhere between 66.6% to 33.33%. So, these values will give you how much area you can cover on the ground, that how much can be built and how much has to be mandatorily left unbuilt and as open spaces. Third important aspects are margins or the setbacks. As discussed in the previous lecture, there are three aspects of the margins or the setbacks. First is the front, second is the rear, and third is the side. So, the open spaces inside and around the building, particularly residential, have to cater to all these three aspects because of basic lighting and ventilation requirement and overall safety of the occupants of that home. So, see in this figure, the center building, the length and width is marked, that is the ground coverage, and the rest of the area is left open. So, the open area that you are seeing will come under the open areas of the site, and it will be the ground coverage would be the area that is occupied by the building. So, if we say there is 30% ground coverage, that means only 30% of the total plot area or the site area can be built, rest has to be left open, and the margins and the setbacks will be decided on the basis of the site area and the ground coverage, with the values of which you will be getting in the local building bylaws. So, front margin is the area that you leave from the abutting road to the extent of your building line. Side setbacks are the extent of the building or the plinth line to the next property line, and similarly the rear setback is from the rear end of your building to the rear end of your plot line. So, these three mandates have to be followed with respect of the side setbacks. Again, when you will refer to your building bylaws, you will get this type of a table in which you will see that plot areas are clearly mentioned, and on basis of that front, rear and side spaces are clearly identified. So, for example, if your plot size is ranging between 151 to 200 square meters, then the front setback has to be 2 meters, rear setbacks has to be 2 meters with a side setback or margin of 1.25 meter. For buildings which have above 300 square meter of plot area and height up to 13 meter, minimum front setback would depend upon the width of the road. So, if the road width is up to 12 meters, then the minimum setback would be 3 meters. If the road is between 2 to 18 meters, the minimum setback would be 4 meters, and if it is above 18 meters, the minimum front setback would be 4.5 meters. So, these are the values which again are given in the building bylaws and have to be mandatorily followed. So, these are all values I am discussing right now are for the residential building. When the building usage changes, for example, if it becomes commercial, the setbacks totally change depending upon what is the size of the plot and what is the width of the road. Moving ahead, for buildings above 300 square meter in residential and height up to 13 meter, minimum rear setback is 3 meter and minimum side setback again will depend upon the what is the size of the plot. So, on these aspects, the size area of the size and the length of the margin is taken care of. Another important point is the height, plinth height. Plinth height is the height above which the ground your ground floor starts. So, depending upon the type of soil, the plinth height is decided, but bare minimum 450 mm above the ground level is mandatory for any residential. Minimum room size are also given in all of the building bylaws. So, starting with the habitable room means where a person has to stay. So, minimum size, one side of the room will not be less than 2.5 meter and the minimum area of the room will not be less than 9.5 meter square. So, in this way all the values of the various rooms that you are going to use in your design are given as per the bylaws, and these values have to be followed in very depth and to the very last value of the bylaws. So, students, I hope you understood today that how these bylaws will impact your overall design. What are the quantitative values that has to be taken care of, what are the numbers you have to follow, these values, these numbers, these sizes, these open areas that has to be left, the FAR that has to be worked upon will all impact your design and the design process, because this will give the volume in which you are going to work, the square foot, square meter, square yard values that you will be having available for you to work on. So, thank you students for your time today. The key takeaways from today's lecture are we understood what are the different bylaws, how local legal, they are the local legal tools which ensure health, safety and comfort. We cannot ignore them because ignoring them could lead to congestion, poor lighting, ventilation and risk of health. Plot area, building line, setbacks are all important factors which has to be taken care of while designing, and understanding built up, ground coverage, carpet area, super built up area, FAR, FSI will all maximize design within the permissible limits. So, thank you students for your time. Looking forward to see you in the next lecture, which would delve into the detailed aspects of site analysis. I am architect Mansha Samreen from School of Architecture and Design, K.R. Mangalam University. See you all in the next lecture. Thank you.